Botswana's Letsile Tebogo made history for Botswana at the Paris 2024 Games. The Botswana sprint star stormed to victory in an African record of 19.46 seconds. He beat hot favourite Lyles, who came third behind fellow African Kenneth Bednarek. Hello there and welcome to your favourite weekly sports program, Sports Talk, on West African Democracy Radio, broadcasting on 94.9 FM, Dakar, Senegal. I am Sankulleh Janko. Also coming up, Lyles won the men's 100-meter race in the most dramatic fashion, and the question remains, did he really win the race, or was it Thompson who did? Meanwhile, St. Lucia's Julien Alfred made history as he won her country's first ever Olympic medal. Morocco's Soufiane Bakali successfully defended his 3,000-meter steeplechase, becoming the first man to reach the landmark in 90 years. Kenya's Beatrice Chebet won gold in women's 5,000-meter. Faith Kipchoge won silver after being disqualified. Morocco beat Egypt to win bronze in the men's under-23 in the men's football tournament in Paris 2024. And away from Paris 2024, and on a sad note, world football mourns the sudden death of former CAF President Issa Hayatou, who led the African football governing body for over 20 years. Welcome to the program, and you can join our discussion hashtag Sports Talk on X, formerly Twitter, and Instagram at WADR News. On Facebook, West African Democracy Radio English, serving online at WADR.org. Also, leave me a message via WhatsApp at +221 7818 45421. Again, at +221 7818 45421. Now, let's begin this edition of Sports Talk with a breathtaking performance of Botswana's Letsile Tebogo after storming to victory in the men's 200-meter finals on Thursday. For more on this, I am joined by Ghanaian sports journalist Fitman Darah. Fitman, welcome to Sports Talk. What a performance by Botswana's sprint star.
It was always a pleasure to join you guys to digest and then delve into sports, most especially African sports. It's always a pleasure.
So many things to talk about for the African contingent in the Paris Olympics 2024, but I cannot help it. Fitman, we'll have to start with Letsile Tebogo. Oh my goodness. My brother, he made history as the first man to get a goal for Africa in the 200-meter race. First of all, what is your reaction to this Botswanan sensation? Every African was really proud on Thursday evening.
So I think it's a great achievement, and then considering the fact that he came up against Lyles of the USA, who won the 100 meters final. So it tells you that he did it smoothly. He did it
with ease, with so much ease.
Exactly. And if you look at his competitors, Lyles, who won the 100 meters at the end. 100 meters final at the expense of
Thompson.
It tells the guy has achieved something that will forever live in the memory of Africans. For the first time for an African to win a gold medal at the 200 meters final tells you that this will go down in history as one of the best moments to be an African.
And Fitman, the interesting thing again is that he did this in grand style because he stormed to victory in an African record of 19.46 seconds. And on top of that, like you said, he beat, Lyles, Lyles was the hot favorite, but he beat in Lyles, all these superstars, the Kenneth Bednarek and all the others. He did it in grand style with so much ease.
This will go down in history as one of the best moments being an African. It was enormous. It was fantabulous. We never saw it coming. No one saw it coming.
Absolutely.
And for him to do that at the expense of Lyles tells you that he did something special that he needs to be recommended. He needs to be celebrated by almost all African on this continent. He did this in a grand style. He did so well, and we shouldn't forget that the mom just passed on, and I think this is a perfect way toward to show your last respect to your mom. He did tremendously well.
The way he cruised to the finishing line, he gave me those nostalgia of Usain Bolt because he did it it was a phenomenal.
Absolutely. And he's just 21 years old. He's just 21 years old, and that is what makes his situation so special. He has a lot more years ahead of him. What it means is that he can compete in the next Olympics to be played in the United States of America. He can compete in the next 3 editions of the Olympics, and that is what we call setting the fundamentals right to achieve something great in the near future. At age 21, to do this at the age of 21 is a testament to setting the fundamentals right to achieve something greater in the near future.
Of course, in the near future, Fitman, it looks like the Paris Olympics seems to be a year for newcomers, because we've seen another sensation, of course, in Julien and Alfred of St. Lucia. I mean, she also stormed 200 meters for the women, and then, oh my goodness, it was a standard performance from this youngster as well.
Absolutely. And imagine where she's coming from. She's coming from a Caribbean country, a country with not a country that has not been well known when it comes to sports. And you can see the joy on the faces of the people of
St. Lucia.
Yes, you can see. Yes, they celebrated as if they won. They are on top of the world, and clearly they have every right to celebrate to celebrate that, because it is their first gold medal, and it was so marvelous. It was so gigantic seeing the Alfred doing that at the higher stage of sports. No one saw it coming. Because of where she is coming from. She's coming from a Caribbean country, and we didn't see it coming. These are people who don't get so much recognition when it comes to sports. And the lady, she stood on her feet and then make sure that she had the first gold medal, and the first medal
for the country, for St. Lucia.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a brilliant performance, and we saw her winning silver again in the 200 meters, which was kudos to her. She was just marvelous. I mean, Fitman, is it right to say the most contested and the most closely contested 100 meters when Thompson and Lyles could not be separated by the naked eye? I mean, it was the computer actually showed that it was actually Noah Lyles of the USA who actually won. I mean, the 100 meters for the men. It was, I still look at the photo finish, I still look at it, I'll be like, oh my goodness, how on earth, what a race it was. I mean, Fitman.
Oh, I have never seen something of such as a sports journalist. I've never seen something of such in a sporting event. For you to see clearly that it was Thompson who was supposed to win the gold medal, later for the analysis to come out and then say that it was Lyles who rather won the gold medal. And one thing is that sometimes you need to follow the rules. Once you follow the rules, there will only be so much argument when it comes to these kind of decisions. They came out with the rule and says that in the case of photo finish, it is the torso, the body torso that is supposed to be used.
Not the legs.
Not the legs. If it is supposed, if it were to be the leg, then Thompson should have won the race.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that is where the layman was trying to adjudge Thompson as the winner, until the expert or the sports analysts around the globe came out with the statistics, with the analysis, and say, no, in athletics is the body torso that is being used to determine who wins the race in a photo finish. It was so close, and kudos to the contestant. They really gave us something that it will take us so many years for us to see in the Olympic Games.
And that is why most of the time, if you pay attention, when you see these athletes, once they're on the finishing line or they're about to, they usually show their torso. You see, it is their torso that they want to bring forward instead of their legs. I think that's probably the mistake Thompson made. But hey, like you said, man, it was so kudos to all of them. Like I have this friend of mine in the Gambia who said Gambians have this saying, like when two people get to a particular spot at the same time, they call it bracket. It's a local thing. For them, like there's like both of them deserve a gold medal. It was that close.
Very close. Clearly, Noaleles actually brought out his torso, knowing perfectly well that it is the only to at least have that kind of upper hand over his competitors. And I think that did the trick for him at the end of the day.
Yeah, I think I actually also agree that did the trick for him. But let's still crucial, and of course, let's go back to Africa and their performance of African athletes and their performance, of course, in the Paris Olympics. I mean, Fitman, we've seen Morocco's Soufiane Bakali successfully defending, of course, his 3,000 meters steeplechase, and he's the first man in 90 years to defend the title. What a performance from the Moroccan star.
Absolutely. These are moments that you definitely feel proud as an African whenever you are able to match the North America, the European, the Caribbean countries. Whenever we are able to match them good for good, we saw the players, the men's football doing it for the football matches for the under 23 games. They are doing it, and we have our athletes too also matching them good for good. And that is what we always want to see as African, because it seems like this is where the talents are mostly at. But just that they are very good when it comes to the nurturing of these talents, And I love the fact that Morocco are not only focusing on football.
Yeah.
They are also They are also trying to nurture most of their guys.
Other sports, right?
Absolutely, because they have the facilities and they have the resources to do that. And it is good. It's good to have that kind of dynamics when it comes to the sports. Kudos. They are really matching them good for good, and you should be proud as an African.
That was also another very interesting, incidents in the women's 5,000 meter race, because of course we saw Kenya's Beatrice Chebet, of course, won gold in the women's 5,000 meter. But the interesting thing about that event was Faith Kipyegon won silver after being disqualified. She was disqualified, but the Kenyan Athletics Association, they protested, they appealed, and then she was reinstated to have won silver. It was quite an interesting thing, because while they were running, there was an argument between her and someone else. And because of that, they decided that she was disqualified. But interestingly, she was reinstated. But that was a good performance from the Kenyan contingent. Of course, they won gold and silver in the 5,000 meter. And I'm sure that was not a surprise for you, was it?
It wasn't a surprise at all when it comes to such kind of distance race. The Kenyans, the Ethiopians always stand tall, and that is what they are well known of. They are not that good when it comes to the sprinting type of races, or like 100 meters or the 200 meters. They are very good when it comes to the 5,000. They are very good when it comes to the 3,000 and after. So it tells you that they are trying to specialize on that. When you are going to such race and you see an Ethiopian, you see a Kenyan, then it should tell you that you definitely have a long day on for that particular event.
Unfortunately, we've seen an incident, of course, that I'm sure you will not be so much pleased with, and that is, of course, during the men's 4x100 relay, we've seen another mistake by the Ghanaian relay team. We're talking about very good, sprinters, but unfortunately, qualifying, getting to this place in itself, it shows that they've done well. But unfortunately, there was a mistake in the handing over of the batting exchange. That was really a sad moment for all Ghanaians and to have watched.
It was a sad moment. I need to at least make sure I wake up from bed early to follow this story and then the event. And for us, or for our guys to go into that race and then commit such a blunder was unpardonable, because this isn't the first time. This is the second time. They did it during the African Games, and then during the Bahamas championship, they were able to qualify for the Olympics, and they repeated the same mistake again. And it is unpardonable. But normal, let me tell you, this is an issue that is not supposed to be tackled at the highest level. I've been seeing this kind of mistakes since my days at the primary school. This is a mistake, a basic error when it comes to the Ghanaian athletes. A lot of mistakes have been going for sporting events back at high school, back at the primary school, and most of our guys tend to commit such a blunder. And as a serious nation, you need to give a close attention to such a problem. That what is causing it, and then just try to rectify it. Why is it always Ghanaian athletes? This isn't the first time. This is the second time at the highest level, and this is it is highly unpardonable for you to be at the Paris Olympics, spending almost 2 weeks. Fuseni is yet to compete. Joseph Paul Amon, that was his first competition. That was Fuseni's first competition. It was Azamati and then Abdurrashid Samir who competed during the 200 meters heat and then the semi-final. These two guys, Fuseni and Joseph Paul Amon, are yet to compete, and this will have been their first, or this was their first competition. And for you to go into such a competition for such a race and then commit such a blunder, I think it is unpardonable. It's unpardonable. It isn't the first time. They did the first one. A lot of Ghanaians, almost every Ghanaian forgave them, especially when they were able to qualify or they were able to rectify that problem during the Bahamas championship and then qualify for the Olympics. It was highly unpardonable. Myself, I was so disappointed as a Ghanaian, so disappointed.
But Fitman, what do you think is responsible for this? We are talking about professional athletes. I mean, like you said, they've made such errors at the highest level, and then again, it was repeated. Could it be that they were not practicing batting exchange, or something? Because usually these are things you're expected to practice and expect that you should exchange those battings in a perfect way.
Absolutely. Definitely, you need to do constant practice to get used for it. Other than that, you are likely to commit an error. Yeah, the first mistake they did during the All African Games, you saw them practicing it for several days, and they were able to rectify it during the Bahamas Championship. And I think they went to sleep. They realized that since we were able to rectify during the issue during the Bahamas Championship, it isn't going to be a problem during the Paris. But Charlie, this is sports. Sports, we don't sleep over an issue, or we don't sleep over something that you've been struggling to get used to it. You don't sleep over it. If you struggle to score, if you are always struggling to score a penalty, you definitely need to constant practice. If it is a free kick, David Beckham used to constantly practice free kick at the backyard of his house. That is how come he became one of the experts when it comes to free kick. So if you realize that is an issue, or that was the issue that you are facing as an athlete, what do you have to do? You need to give much attention to that and then make sure that you rectify the problem. You did that, you're able to rectify the Bahamas, and I think they went to sleep. And that was where the problem began. They went to sleep and realized that it isn't going to be a problem anymore. And we are doing this at the highest stage. At the highest stage of sports, anything can happen. You need your focus. You need 100% focus, 100% practice before you'll be able to give out your best. They went to sleep, and I think they have no one to blame but themselves.
And generally, quickly, I mean, Fitman, how was the reaction back in Accra, in Kumasi, all over Ghana? How was the reaction like after another, serious error at the highest standard, at the highest level?
Ghanaians were highly disappointed. Highly disappointed. Because you committed such an error at the highest stage of the Olympic Games. You don't do that. You don't do that at this highest stage of sporting events. You don't do that. Ghanaians were highly disappointed. Highly disappointed. A lot of football and sports journalists, a lot of analysts were trying to defend them. But come on, you don't do that at this highest level of sporting event. Ghanaians were highly disappointed, and clearly weren't happy.
Of course.
People weren't happy. If you look at, if you read the stories on Twitter, Facebook, and then people, we had interactions with them with regards to what happened. And in the morning, I clearly see that a lot of Ghanaians were moving with smiling faces, but highly disappointed with what our guys did at this highest level of sporting event.
Absolutely, there must be a lot of disappointment. Of course, that's because they love their country. They love this athletes. They would have wished that they would do well, but sometimes these things happen. Now, let's shift our attention quickly to football, Fitman Darah. We've seen Morocco, of course, clinching the bronze medal in the men's and under 23. Football tournament. Just like you said, Morocco are really investing in sports. It's paying dividends, and we can see that.
Absolutely, it is paying dividends, and it is because of the huge investment they made in their football. We have the Morocco, the fifth academy in Rabat, that is always nurturing talents, identifying talents around across the length and breadth of Morocco, and not just in Morocco, but other countries that share that are inclined with Morocco.
So, Fitman, it is safe to say that you were not surprised that Morocco actually won the the bronze medal in the men's category of the football tournament.
I least expected them to be in the semi-final. At the worst, I thought should have been in the final.
Yeah, because they did well, absolutely. But you are still not surprised to see them winning the bronze, were you?
I'm not surprised at all. I'm not surprised because Foxy Jar is actually he understands the game and he's investing so much in their football, and it is paying off. It is paying off. They've not gone to sleep on their football. They are trying to make everything possible to make sure that they invest the right resources, get the right facilities, make sure that they identify talent across the length and breadth of Morocco and also outside Morocco to make sure that they are able to parade the best of squad to compete in this kind of competition, this kind of tournament. So clearly, it's been paid off. It's been paid off, and we have to give them the credit and then give them the applause. They are really doing well.
On a sad note, Fitman Darah, news broke that former CAF President Issa Hayatou passed on. He passed away in France. That's and the football world is mourning. Africa in particular, of course. For so many people, Issa Hayatou was the brain, was the man behind the success of African football that we Africans are enjoying today.
Of course, it is a sad moment for all Africans, considering the fact that he saved African football for so many years, over 20 years, and he's the longest serving CAF president. During his time, Africa had that kind of mileage on the world map when it comes to football. He was able to at least lobby most of these sporting events that have been hosted by African countries. It was a time that we had the number of teams that are supposed to qualify for the World Cup. The number has been upgraded to 5 countries. That was in 2006. We had 5 countries represent Africa during the World Cup. So he's paid his dues. He's one guy that will go down in history as the best thing to have ever happened to Africa. Because to serve African football for over 20 years, a one-time FIFA vice president tells you that he has really paid his dues. And it's a sad moment for all African football enthusiasts.
Fitman, finally, before I let you go, what do you think would be the legacy of Issa Hayatou? Like you said, who served? He's done everything he possibly could to ensure African football gets to where it is today. What do you think would be his legacy?
I think the legacy definitely will be the fact that we've been able to have that kind of mileage. We are able to have that kind of mileage when it comes to world football. It was his time that Africans are being recognized as one of the best continents that produce talent. During his moment, we had the best of strikers, Samuel Eto'o, Didier Drogba. During these moments, Africans were able to have their name being put on the world map. All this happened during the time of Issa Hayatou. We saw what most of the African countries did during the 2006 World Cup, during 2004 Nations Cup, 2002 Nations Cup. He successfully led most of these Nations Cup without facing any challenges. South Africa in 1996, we have Algeria in 1992, and Tunisia 2004, Ghana, Nigeria 2002. We had Cameroon in 2000. He successfully led most of these tournaments, and it tells you that he has paid his dues, and he will forever be remembered as one of the best CAF presidents to have ever led African football.
Fitman Darah, it's an absolute pleasure talking to you, my brother. Thank you so much for your expertise. I really appreciate it, sir.
You're welcome.
Do have a wonderful weekend, brother.
You too, sir.
Well, I'm afraid we've come to the end of this edition of Sports Talk on WADR. Join our discussions, hashtag Sports Talk on X, formerly Twitter and Instagram at WADR News. On Facebook, West Africa Democrats Radio English Service, and online at WADR.org. Also, leave me a message via WhatsApp at +221 7818 45421. Again, at +221 7818 45421. Until next time,